Okay, so I'm here to relax. I'm here to make a podcast episode. Um, I want this to be something I enjoy doing. So I'm trying to change some of my habits so that I'm more disciplined, you know. I've let in, I've let some things get to me, some personal attacks, and that's what I came here to discuss. Today, today's date, first off, is August 15th. It's 10:22 p.m. I'm up a little late. But I told you that I would come back and I would make an episode discussing I want to go in more detail in regard to the attacks that have occurred against me. Um, an X corporation isn't getting it through their thick skulls either. I'm still being attacked, by bots. Kind of more covert now. Elon Musk is a big fan, and so is X Corporation. They support covert harassment. They're big fans of covert harassment. X Corporation and Elon Musk. But first, I'm gonna start a little bit. I'm gonna go a little bit further back. First, we're gonna start with that, and then I'm going to explain a little bit about how the government has also intimidated my friend and I, and some of the dirty tactics that they have employed as well. And the purpose of this podcast is so that you are more aware. You are more aware. I know this looks really bad. This looks really bad. Don't ask. So, the goal is to make the public more aware of the crime that's occurred in regard to violating our constitutional rights. So, so we have a situation here where it isn't just this isn't just a constitutional violation in regard to the government violating my Fourth Amendment, but we're going to talk about how this became a civil rights violation as well, and the manner in which I've been attacked, and I want to thoroughly explain for legal purposes, as well to inform you public of some of these dirty, rotten tactics that corrupt corporations can do to silence you, will do, and what's occurring over X.com is illegal, in my opinion, and Elon Musk is a predator, and so are his cronies, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because I feel like I've been abused. And I feel the same about the government, and I want to start and explain a little bit in more detail. I gave you a little bit of backstory. Okay, so remember I told you how I detected the attack in my router? So I went through, saw that attack, like I said, and then I posted it to X because I'm thinking, well, this is coming from the New York area. I'm here talking on smack on X, X, formerly known as Twitter, and that's what this attack is about. I was thinking, because I knew it was coming from the New York area. The maps showed that. I'm going to get into more detail about that. I'm going to explain how I found out this is the FBI. But first I want to detail my personal interaction with Elon Musk, how that turned out. and I want to explain to you what kind of not just I'm explaining to you what kind of character this is, as it impacts my perception, as it impacts my emotions, and in a legal situation, what would separate something from, you know, being a hearsay or off topic, so to say, would be, how does this impact me emotionally? How does this impact my behavior? How has this impacted my behavior, my train of thought, my actions, my mental health, my current situation? Fact is, Elon Musk and X Corporation are fully complicit in the attacks that have occurred against me, and complicit in regard to the damage that has happened in my life. And X Corporation isn't getting the hit. Elon Musk isn't getting the hint. They say, bring it on. You know, we don't care. We like to be bullies. We like to antagonize and bully disabled people. Because Elon Musk is an arrogant, pedantic, micromanaging megalomaniac. And X Corporation is the same thing. You say anything, you do anything that they don't like in regard to something contrary to their political beliefs, it is freedom of expression for them, but not for you. They're going to micromanage your account and send plenty of bots your way. Elon Musk knows I personally hate being targeted with his Elon Musk bots, so he'll do it constantly. I'm going to get into more of that. And I'm going to get into why I'm targeted by X Corporation and Elon Musk. And I'm not talking out of my ass here. All I have is evidence. I've got solid evidence. I've got backed up images of evidence, and evidence that I have distributed to the media, and the government here does the stupidest shit to cover their tracks. I'm going to let you know how to detect that, how to find that. I'm going to let you know how to find out if the government is stalking you, illegally monitoring and intercepting your traffic without probable cause or without warrant, behind your back. Why? Because they're doing it to me without cessation, and they think they can hide it from me. They think, here's what they did, and I'm going to get more into this. As soon as I mentioned I was going to podcast about it, about the evidence that shows on the maps, you know, that I can see where my traffic is being sent through the White House, and my best friends as well, and through the FBI. Him and I use Google to run trace routes. So all of a sudden you can't use Google. So what did the government do, or Google? Well, they made it so that you can't do that, or whomever did, somebody did. Why? Because it tells you what's going on with your traffic, and the government doesn't want you to know. So, but I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into what my friend and I discovered. Okay? Everything here I'm saying is true to the best according to my knowledge, but this is based off of empirical data. I'm not telling you lies. I'm not sitting here telling you something that's not true about the government or about my particular situation. I'm telling you my personal experience that I've witnessed. I'm telling you what's happened to me. I'm telling you I've had phone calls with the FBI where they've sat and they've dicked me around. And my internet service provider. And my mobile provider. No. So, with this situation here, so I posted these pictures on my X account, right? X.com. So Elon Musk, he picks up the phone, right? Calls me in a video chat. Okay. Got the screenshot. Okay, this isn't something imaginary. I've got the screenshot of his call, and I've got his messages in Telegram, and he's got mine. And neither one of us are gonna delete them because we're not dumb enough to do that. I hope he's not. Doesn't matter, I've got copies. Well, I mean, screenshots. I'm gonna get to. I'm gonna explain why that's a bit important. Okay. And I don't care if I'm giving the U.S. government what I'm gonna bring to court, or Elon Musk or his lawyers what I'm gonna bring to court, because neither one of them have a leg to stand on for various reasons. Shouldn't have been a criminal. You know? I mean, that's what I say to the government and to Elon Musk. See, it's interesting. It's kind of ironic. The government chases criminals, but when one of their own committed crime, the DOJ looks the other way. They don't prosecute their own, do they? Not often enough. Not until they're caught. Not until sleuths like me and other people come out and say, "Bad, bad, shame, shame, Uncle Sam, you violated us again," and it's happening again. It happened. It happens. It happened. It happens all the time. I mean, and Edward Snowden told us this. Okay, and it's happening. Okay, and the government shouldn't be blaming. They shouldn't be blaming Edward Snowden. Okay, plenty of technicians out there like myself that would have discovered this without Edward Snowden's help. But he did the right thing. He did the right thing, and his whistleblower protections should have been supported. So Elon calls me in a video chat. So I want to go over the details of the conversation again. So and the reason why I'm going over this is because it paints a picture of at least how Elon Musk has treated me behind closed doors. Okay. Now, I explained to him, I said, okay, hey, I've got this picture here, okay? I was attacked from this location. This looks like the approximate location from where X-Core servers, maybe in New York, or whatever I had said. That was the gist of what I had told him, and according to my recollection, and I had let him know, I said, hey, my instructor had to drop me because after this attack, my PC had been damaged. Okay, so when I noticed this attack in my router, okay, it said there were a whole range of IPs that said netcore exploit, backdoor, router access, something like this. But I posted the images of the logs. I've got the logs still, and I've got the router still with the attacks in there, logged, and all the IPs and images. So I told him, or images, when I say images, I mean I cloned my router. Essentially. So, and I burned it on multiple drives and I encrypted them. And I became so paranoid that I hid the key parts and I sent the key parts to different people, and it's an 18-character encryption key. So nobody's hacking that drive unless I die. And it's a part of a cipher. So, because I felt threatened. Okay, so I said I lost my financial aid during the term, at least for this past term, because I fell below halftime. My instructor had to drop me. It took that long to fix the PC, and I said, and during this time, you know, my aunt had died. As soon as I had mentioned that my aunt died, and this is important to me, it's nothing to Elon Musk, it's important to me. He just goes like that. He just sneers like that, like as if I was. That told me that he thought I was using her or that scenario as some sort of fucking money grab or something. No, I was letting him know. Not only had I been through. Not only as a disabled person, it is enough for me to attend a school term, but to be attacked and have the PC damage that I need to attend that term, and then to endure an episode of paranoia, not knowing who my attacker is during the time of the death of my aunt, that sent me like I said, at what point this got so bad, I began to see laser pointers on my chest and dove under my bed. At that point, I would have known it was the government. So this happened after I had found out. But I had let Elon know, and I just didn't like his response. It seemed rather kind of cold, really, really like total lack of empathy. It seemed, and so he says, "What do you want?" So I'm thinking in my head. Here's what I was thinking in my head. I want 1,000 times of what I lost. I said $4 million. So yeah, he says, "I'll think about it." He says, "Okay." I said, "Okay." And he hung up. So here's where it gets interesting. And here's why I'm making a podcast episode about it. Because it plays into Elon Musk's and X Corporation's harassment on me. After that day, Elon Musk did not like me. Okay. I asked him, because I sent him a message, or I communicated with him on X somehow, and I said, "Hey, were you planning on communicating with me?" Or I was messaging him in Telegram, where he had messaged me or called me. And I said, have you made your decision? Have you thought about this or whatnot? Have you thought about any more about what I was requesting for a remediation on the situation or whatnot to remedy the situation? And he said, "Well, we can continue our conversation later." And he never showed up. I got frustrated with him, and I was complaining about it. Because I thought, from somebody coming from Elon Musk, one of his own users, I thought it was one of the most disrespectful things a person could have done to me. He was wasting my goddamn time. So I called him out on it. I said, "Hey, what's going on, man?" So then he says, "Okay, we'll continue our conversation later." And then he did message me back, but then when he did, it was about a bunch of bullshit in regard to his rockets. I mean, I wasn't talking about rockets, so I said, "Hey, Elon, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I want to settle this situation, and I pretty much said in so many words, let's not communicate unless you plan on settling the situation. Please don't contact me unless you plan on making it right. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's why." And that's when the bots started coming. Elon Musk bots, a bunch of them, constantly harassed by Elon Musk bots, and what I call what else am I supposed to call them? But hooker bots, okay? Females soliciting for me to follow their OnlyFans. Okay, there's a time and a place for that, is what I mean. Okay? Hell, I subscribe to a few, one or two ladies on OnlyFans. But yeah, time and a place, and but over X, when it's unwanted and when it's unneeded, it is unwanted contact. It is harassment. It is sexual harassment. When I say no, when a person says no over and over and over and over and over and over again, it's sexual harassment. And what X Corporation started to do, they started to send Elon Musk bots after me over and over and over and over, and to this day they still do it. Bot accounts. What I mean by bot accounts, I mean accounts that are clearly generated, that are fake. Because they'll use the same pictures, the same bullshits on the profiles. The profiles may be new. They'll have no followers, or only be following a few people, or maybe I'm the only one they're following. Quite often. or whatever, you know, maybe one or two more, but it's malicious in nature. I'll block one in August. Another account created in August. Brand new, only following me, or whatever, or a handful of other people. It's made to be as discreet as possible, but as in your face of, hey, I'm gonna antagonize you, I'm gonna bully you, I'm gonna pick on you, I'm gonna do exactly what you don't want me to do without your permission, whether you like it or not. And that's what kind of piece of garbage Elon Musk is. So I'm gonna podcast it because he won't stop. And when people like this are in power, according to the Constitution, here's why nobody's going to do anything about this. Because, according to the Constitution, we have freedom of expression. Not just that, look at the Declaration of Independence. What was the Declaration of Independence about? It was right. It was about the freedom that we obtained from who? The tyranny of who? The king, right? And it's becoming increasingly more tyrannical. Like Biden said, nobody is above the law. And some people think they are. The FBI thinks they're above the law. The CIA thinks they're above the law. Certain actors like Elon Musk, they think they're above the law. Nobody's above the law, people. Our constitutional rights need to be respected, and I want to get into that a little bit. This is a long episode. The next episode, I'm going to detail my experience with the government, but first I'm going to finish up here. The harassment, it got over X corporation. It has been incessant. Okay, it's this. I mention anything in regard to exposure of the situation at all. In regard to mistreatment, I sent the accessibility services like 4 emails, four messages or whatnot, 3 or 4 over X, the accessibility services to contact, because they said they make this service available for disabled people. Well, they're not. They're not. They're not. They didn't answer a single one of my questions or concerns as a disabled American. When a person makes accessibility services available for the disabled and they intentionally and violate, and the FCC is going to know this, Mr. Musk, bastard. When you make those services available, by U.S. law, you cannot ignore a disabled person. You can't just do that. You can't just deny accessibility services when that's our right under the ADA. You committed an ADA violation, and you're getting held accountable for it. This message is to X Corporation. This message is to Elon Musk, and for all his fans, for all the users, and for the government. Nobody's above the law, and these people are going to start. They're going to be held accountable. They're going to be held accountable for the wrong they've done. If I catch a politician breaking the law, if I catch the FBI or the government doing things to me or my family or friends, and if I see activity going on in regard to any sort of act like FISA or the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, anything at all that violates our rights, I'm going to speak up about it. And I intend on addressing the situation. And the harassment pushed me so far over X that it's like X Corporation and Elon were intentionally trying to beat me down, back me into a corner so that I would protect my tweets. And get this, X Corporation profits off of everything in regard to the service, the use of their API. They profit from that. It's not a non-profit piece of software, which means they're profiting off of mass harassment that not just myself have complained about, but when Elon came to X Corporation, he was saying, or to Twitter, he was saying, I'm going to do something about this bot problem. You know, harassment's going to drive customers away. But what is that guy doing? He's doing the same thing, but he's doing it worse. He will charge me for a premium account and then cut off my features of my reach towards other users. If it comes to exposing anything that wrong that X Corporation has done, or anything in regard to the government. Why? Just because Elon's he's a power hungry guy, you know, X Corporation. They're criminals, they're corrupt. And I'm going to expose it. Elon's going to be right there in that courtroom with me as it pertains to this case. Because the FBI sat there and watched the situation explode so bad that I put a knife to my throat. And that I beat myself in the head to the point that I almost went unconscious over X. And I posted the video. And I said, I'm going to snap. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. And they would not do it. Still harassing me. Still harassing me so bad that I said something homicidal. To the point that my account got deactivated for 6 days. And I said to him and X Corporation that was their aim. I straight up said there is a difference between exploitation and X Corporation works with the FBI. It's been publicized in the media to take down bot farms. The FBI knows what's going on. The FBI sat and they were aware of the conversation of between Elon and I, because they were surveilling me, and we're going to get into that in the next video. And they were told about it, okay? And they work together, so they know about these bots. They know what's been done to me. They know I was attacked and pushed. The FBI will entrap people to commit a crime. But there's a difference between entrapment and exploitation of a person's mental illness, their disability, when they express symptoms of agitation and say or do things they don't mean. When you push a person that is disadvantaged in some way, or and if they kill themselves or do something like that, you could be guilty of not homicide, but manslaughter. You know. The FBI has been negligent on such an extreme level. I even called them and said, this is making me suicidal. So what do? They keep surveilling. And then I say, I'm going to make a podcast explaining this and showing this evidence. And what do? They change up the way that they surveil me. We're going to talk about that next, in the next video. And if the harassment continues, X Corporation and Elon Musk will be following me to court to corroborate how all the story comes together. What I'm saying is, it's all connected. It's all connected. It all plays into the violations committed against me by a negligent government. FBI and CIA, be advised, because what you're doing is illegal with FISA. And I'm going to expose it. It's not going to go on forever. I'm not going to let it happen. Give us our rights.